Hello, scrapbookers. This is Megan, and I am back today with a multi-photo love layout for the Crafty Maven Getaway. I have mixed feelings about this layout. So as you can see, I have, I believe it's 6 photos here that I am just cutting up, and I am going to back each of them on a very old black piece of paper that I find from my stash. And by very old, I mean like 2010 era, maybe not 2010, maybe like 2015, but it was probably just one of those like Michael's Halloween kit or paper pads that I had in my stash, and I found it and I was like, this is perfect. The photos are of so Ashley and I are getting into like doing spells and stuff like that. It's something that we have found to be very spiritual for us. It's not like an evil thing. It's not like of Satan or anything like that. It is more of like being in tune with yourself and the earth and things like that. So this was the first spell that we did together, and I believe it was a money spell. Because we are working on paying off debt this year. And so it was just something about money and finances. And ever since we actually did the spell, we haven't had an issue with having enough money to pay our bills, which is always amazing, right? And so it's like those little things, and you might not agree with me, you might not believe the same thing, but I definitely feel like the spell has changed our financial situation. So anyway, just a little bit on the background behind the photos. So here you can see I have matted all 6 of these photos, and then I decided I really didn't like the purple. And so I went into my stash and I found this 6x6 paper pad. I think it's a 6x6. And I really liked the more like grungy kind of look behind it. And so I decided to use this paper pad instead of the purple, which worked out really, really well. I'm really glad that I decided to do that. And I'm really happy with the photo matting and all of that on this layout. So here I'm just getting them to fit on this piece of paper, and they don't fit. So I decide to add a little, like cut off like 1/2 inch, and then I'm just going to glue it just so that there's that extra piece on the right side. It worked out well. And as you can see, I have my little buddy Maximus here with me. He's my 6-year-old stepson, and he loves to craft with me. Or he and Lorelai, his twin sister, they just love to like draw and craft at my craft desk, which I absolutely love. So I hope that doesn't bother you that he is in the video with me, but he had so much fun just scrapbooking with me. He's been asking to scrapbook with me for like days, and so finally I was like, yes, let's do it, because I need to get this layout done. And he had so much fun. He loves it. Anyway, back to the layout. So here you can see I want to add some mixed media to the background. So I decided to I pulled out the stencil and the stickles from my March 2025 kit. By the way, there are still some March 2025 Spring Bloom kits in the store. And for National Scrapbooking Day, we are doing I believe it's a 20% off sale. And the other supplies that I'm working with today, like the ink pad, was from the Mystery Mini Kits, which is a new item in the Crafty Maven Getaway shop. So I will make sure to leave all the links down below, and you definitely want to make sure you take advantage of this sale. So I believe it's 20% off is what it comes out to for any of the mystery kits and any of the past kits. The last sale that we did was not on kits. They were excluded from the sale, and so this time Hannah thought it would be fun to do a sale on the kits. And then also she thought it would be fun because then people that haven't had a chance to get any of the past kits could definitely get them and get them in time to use them for National Scrapbooking Day. And also, if you didn't know, we are doing a National Scrapbooking Day challenge throughout the whole day. I believe it starts at 10 a.m. I want to say Pacific time. Let me actually check and I will get back to you on that. I was just looking at the Instagram and let's see. I want to say it is, let's see. I thought I posted about it. I don't know that I did. Oh, I did post about it. Okay, hang on. I posted it on my stories, and so I know I'm not really interpreting my layout anymore, but I wanted to make sure. So it actually starts, it starts at 6 a.m. Pacific time. And then it goes all the way to 4 p.m. Pacific time. And that is going to be 6 of the design team members. So that's all 5 of the design team ladies. And then Hannah also are going to be posting video challenges on the Facebook page. And then also there's going to be a scrap and chat session from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. that night. And again, that is Pacific time. So make sure you come on over to the Crafty Maven Getaway yes, please come to YouTube. Obviously you're on YouTube, but come on over to the group and I will have a link below to the Facebook group as well. Okay, sorry, very big tangent. Anyway, you can see that I got done with all of my social media. I used the Stickles from the March kit, like I was saying, and the only thing about these Stickles was that they had stars in it, and I love the way it looks on the layout, but it was really hard to get them off of the stencil. So that was a little bit frustrating, but I love the look on the layout. And here you can see I added another black piece of paper from the 6x6 paper pad, and that is a Prima. That's a Prima 6x6 paper pad, and it is old. It's probably from 2015, maybe even earlier, maybe possibly later, but then you can see I'm also bringing in some embellishments from the March 2025 kit called Spring Blooms. And then I cut out this little, I think it's like a 2x3 card from the Prima papers, and I'm going to use that as my journaling. I did decide to cut out a piece of that paper so that I could have it on the right side of the photos, because it just kind of felt weird to have that gap, and I kept trying to fill that gap with embellishments and things, and it just was not working. So here I'm going to use a scrap piece of paper from that black one down in that bottom right corner as my second cluster, and then I'm going to glue this butterfly and a couple pieces from the embellishments that came with the March 2025 kit. And I believe the embellishments are from Vicky Bouton, like the butterflies. They're the vellum butterflies from Vicky Bouton. And then I think the paper, like the tags and things, are from the family collection that I believe is Simple Stories or Echo Park. I can't fully remember. But I really love the clusters and how the clusters turned out on this layout. I'm also using right here, I got some thread, or I think it was embossing floss or something in the 2025 kit from March, Spring Blooms. And I'm going to put that in each one of my clusters. So there you can see I'm putting the second one in my that cluster. And then I'm going to put another one later on down at the bottom cluster under the photos. So here is where I cut out another piece of that black paper, and I'm just going to put it there, and then I'm going to finish gluing that top black piece. I'm also going to cut a little bit off of the bottom right black paper that is matted under the photos, and then that kind of makes that whole black paper cohesive all the way down, because it did look a little off because the bottom piece was a little bit more to the right because of the embellishment cluster. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off here in a little bit. And I also found another extra black piece of paper, so I'm sticking that in that cluster. And gosh, I think that is maybe the end for this night. So after this night, I finish the layout and I walk away and I'm like, okay, it's done. And the more and more that I look at it, I decide, you know what, I do not like the background. And really, it was because the background I used was a white piece of paper. But then the Prima papers that I matted the photos on and everything, there you can say I said goodbye. Those were more of like an off-white color. So I come back the next night and I am going to work with, in my March 2025 kit, I got that fossilized amber distress crayon. And then I also got, I want to say it's like a texture paste from Finnabar, I believe. I can't remember exactly what it's called. But like I said, I will leave a link down below to all of the products that I used that are in the store and to the kit and everything. So I decided to use the fossilized amber to make this paste or texture paste, whatever it is, be a little bit more colored in a grungier, vintagier look. And then I'm going to paint it onto the background. So I'm just mixing it all up. I add more, and then I'm going to add more of the color until I'm happy. And yes, it is a little bit more of a yellowy color. I wish maybe I would have added more of the white texture paste than I did. But it's okay. It turns out, and it's not perfect, but I am a lot happier with how with how the layout turns out with this yellowy, more vintagey color of a look. Okay, so now here I am just going to start painting it onto the background. And I didn't want all of the blue swipes of the ink pad that I did. I didn't want them to be all gone. And so I am carefully doing this so that I do keep the integrity of the swipes of the ink on the background. I did like the bluish kind of greenish color, and so I wanted to keep that part. It was a little bit hard though, and I was trying not to get the stars, which was also kind of impossible. And so I think after I turned the camera off, I did go back and kind of wash off some of the paint that ended up getting onto some of the stars. In the end, it's not that big of a deal. It looks the way it looks, right? But I really do like how this turned out better. And I was talking with Hannah, and I think the reason that I am finding it so hard to use products like mixed media products is because I am such a perfectionist. And so Hannah suggested to me, like, if I have an idea of what I want to do on a layout, I do it on an art journal page first. And then if I really like how it turned out on the art journal page, then I bring it over to a scrapbook page and I do it on a background, right? Because normally I'm just kind of playing and just kind of doing my layouts. I don't really practice. And Hannah suggested that I do more practice, which I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, because I'm not, oh, here you can see I did go and get some water on a little wipe, a diaper wipe. Anyway, I'm not really a huge mixed media scrapbooker anymore. Like, not that I ever was before, but I definitely used it a lot more like 5 years ago than I do now, or in the past 5 years. It's only been in the last year that Hannah has opened her shop that I have decided to come back to doing mixed media and using up supplies and things. And so I really do need to just practice and play and not put pressure on myself that it has to be perfect, right? Because I think we end up doing this to ourselves sometimes as scrapbookers, especially as scrapbooking YouTubers. We record everything, and Hannah and I actually have a podcast series about this. We did a couple of episodes having to do with perfectionism and, you know, like performance anxiety and everything. So I will leave a couple of links below to those episodes as well that are on this YouTube channel. Anyway, so here you can see I worked through it. I really do like how this looks. And I am going to finish out by gluing down the photo mat that I made, and then I'm going to be done with this layout. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Bye.